Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and Happy New Year, everyone. Well, hope you have a fantastic year ahead of you with friends and family and a very successful and happy one. Now, today's puzzle, admittedly, is frankly a little bit late. It is a Christmas themed puzzle. It's Sandra and Nala, and they're back with Nala just getting into a bit of trouble trying to unwrap all of her puzzles. She basically tore them apart, and our challenge today is to try and put them together. I admit, given I'm posting this for the 1st of January, that it's probably a week late, but I just couldn't stop myself. It's too cute for me to just pass up on playing this particular puzzle. It's got I'm going to say, a fairly high rating as of the time of recording 97%, 1 star, so it should be fairly approachable. And it doesn't have anywhere near enough solves. It's only got 636. Let's see if we can actually drive the numbers up a little bit. Anyway, you can see here in the thumbnail, you've got Nala, who I seem to remember as a golden retriever. Just correct me, please, if I am mistaken, down in the comments below. And she's really going for those Christmas presents that we're meant to be putting back together. Calm down, Nala. I'm sure there's fantastic treats in there for you. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets with Unwrapping by Sandra and Nala. Now, I appreciate the font size that you see there on the screen is quite small. As you know, there will be links to play down below where you can take a look at the actual rule sets, as well as the fact that there's the full description of the rule sets down below so you can follow a little bit more easily. Right, the story, I kind of described it to you. Nala got a present and she was allowed to unwrap it all by herself. She got a little bit too enthusiastic about it and ripped everything apart, including the colorful arrows we had planned to use for a puzzle. Maybe it's still usable. Now, what do we have for rule sets? We've got normal Sudoku, we've got fog, we've got arrow sums with a twist, so the arrows have been detached from their circles. Digits along an arrow must still sum to the digit in the corresponding circle, and each arrow has its own color, and arrows of the same each arrow has its own color, and arrows of the same color belong to the circle with matching color. No arrows of the same color overlap. Okay. Digits, and then crop key dots, kind of white, black, and gray, with gray being ambiguous and no negative constraints. Right, I think for the vast majority of you, you know what all of these rules mean. I'm really going to just focus on the arrows because that's a little bit unusual. So the way I understood it is this is the normal arrow sums. It's just that the circles where the sum is not necessarily attached to the arrow. There is I'm going to call this orange, an orange circle, and clearly an orange arrow of some description in these 3 cells. Just you can see that it's drifting off to these cells and these cells under the fog. So whatever these 3 cells sum up to, they're going to have to be in here. You can see that the other circles that are visible to us throughout the fog are of a different color, and that's important because the colors associate with the circle. So, relatively straightforward set of rules. As always, to play along, link in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. I say I'm going to restart the clock and then there we go. Right, so black crop key dot. This is, because we've got 3 cells, this is at least 6. Minimum is 1, 2, 3. So that means that this is at least 6, but on a black crop key dot, you can only have multiples of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. Obviously 5, 7, and 9 can't be on there because, double of 5 is a 2-digit number. Half of it is not an integer, so we're not going to have these. And obviously the fact that it's a minimum of 6 means it's only 6 or 8. Meaning that this is 3 or 4. Now notice that if this is 6 and this is 3, well, clearly this is not going to be another black crop key dot. Otherwise we're going to be in trouble because we're going to have another 6. Even if it's a white dot, it's still we're in trouble because we need to have 1, 2, 3 in the same box as the 3. So this is clearly an 8. This is a 4. I need 3 cells that add up to 8. Well, it's not 1, 3, 4. It is 1, 2, 5. This can be a black crop key dot. I said 5 and then pencil mark 4. But it could also be white. So that could be a 2. That could be a 5. It is certainly not a 1. Moving on, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 green cells adding up to this circle. Now, notice because 1, 2, 5 are already placed in here, the minimum this can be is, well, 1, 2, 4, more importantly, 4 and 5. The minimum this can be is 3. The next digit available is 6, which is way too big because the minimum here is 1, 2, 3 plus 6. That is not a single digit number. So let's say this is 3, minimum 1, 2, 3. That is already 6, 3, that's 9. These are not 3s. That is a 3. That's another 3, and that's a 9. Lovely. And then 2 cells up here that add up to 9. Actually, the 1, 2 pair give me a 5, a 2, a 1. We are really making progress here. Gray cells, remember they could be either black or white. It's clearly not black because that would have to be 2, 4, 8. But it could still be a combo. It doesn't have to have. Yeah. So, right, that is just trouble. Don't make any assumptions. Notice the 2 and the 3. Look at me doing Sudoku in a Sudoku puzzle. They're not in the lower second and third rows. They are up here. So this is 2 or 3. To get to 9, they're clearly not in there. So it's either a 2-7 pair or a 3-6 pair. And then whichever one of the 2 or 3 are not used, the second one's in here. Right? 8 is not there. So 8 is definitely in these gray crop keys. I am absolutely certain it's not in the middle, because whether it's white or black, that would be asking for trouble because the 9 is not available. Actually, it could be 8, 7, 4. So I was going to say you can't have an 8 in the middle, but you actually can. 1 is in here. 5 is not there, so this is a 1-5 pair. And then we have an 8 with 1 of 6, 7 and the 4. So this is 4, 8, 6, 7. Now, the only way I can make this work is that the 4, because it's too far away from a white crop key dot for a 6. So essentially the 4 joins an 8, and then the 8 with a white crop key dot joins a 7. I just don't see how this would work. The 6 with a white crop key would be attached to a 7, which wouldn't be available if I use a 6, or a 5. So it has to be attached. It can't be here, so that's not a 6. So that's 4, 7, 8 triple. That's not a 7, therefore that's a 3, 6 pair. That's a 2. These are 3 cells that add up to whatever this is. We'll come back to that. And then to make this work, the 8 has to be in the middle with 4 or 7 either side. So 8 and 4, 7. Then I have 6, 9 pair to complete the row. I also have a 6, 7 pair. So I actually know that this is 9, 6. Up here is 7, 9. Am I going to finish this? Yeah, I may as well. 4, 5, 8. Now, I think 5 here doesn't work because 5 and 2, that's already at 7, plus a 4, that's 11. That's not going to work. So that's definitely a 1. That's definitely a 5. 1 and 2 plus 4 makes this a 7. Plus 5 makes it an 8, which is not available. And obviously plus 8 wouldn't work. So this is just 4, if I can type. And this is a 7. And this is a 9. And this is another 7. We've seen orange before. It adds up to 8. It's 2 cells that add up to 8. It's not 1, 7. Could be 2, 6. So 6, 2. And this is black or white. Not great. Or it could be 3, 5. Now, if this is black, 6, 2, 3 definitely works. If this is white, well, 6 couldn't be 7, but it could be 5. With the 2, of course, to add up to the 8. If this is 5, it doesn't work because 4 and 6, well, it can't be a black crop key dot because 2.5 or 10. And white, 4 and 6 are not available. So that's definitely 6, that's definitely 2. And both the 3 and 5 are still available and unresolved. I mean, based on the reveal from the fog, it's definitely telling me to think about what I've just been shown. So let's give this a bit of a go. So I mean, no fives. I mean, it's not brilliant. I want to pencil mark all of this. I may have to. So what have I got left? 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. And this is not a 2. I mean, the 6 is definitely here. I'm just going to pencil mark the whole lot. So actually, let's think about the 9. That's more interesting. The arrow sum tells me that these two cells at least add up to whatever pink is. And like, it doesn't say anything in the rules about the fact that where I'm going with this is that there is no 9 here, but admittedly, it's a bit of an assumption that all of the circles are single digit sums. You might find a pill shape. It doesn't say it in the rule, but it's surely a better solution than what I'm just suggesting. You see, with the 3 here, these two cells can't even be 1, 2. So the minimum is 1, 4. So that's already 5. And clearly that can't be a 5. And this black Kropke dot says they're connected. So let's just kind of list down options. If I don't use a 1, I mean, presumably I could use a 2. 3 is not available. I could use a 4. So it could add up to 6. And then this would have to be 1, 5, which is actually, it's not 6 because I can't do 1, 5 and I can't do 2, 4. Right. So what is pink adding up to? Maybe let's think about that. It's not, it's, what did I say the minimum was again? 1, 4, and 1. So the minimum was 6, which was just disproven because it's not 1, 5 and it's not 2, 4. So the minimum is at least 7, but could be 8 or 9. Again, we're making the assumption that this is a single digit sum. It would be helpful if you can see the pink. Does it say that in the rules? Arrows, digits along an arrow must still sum to the digit in the corresponding circle. I think it's clear enough. Digits along an arrow must still sum to the digit in the corresponding circle. So yeah, it's saying digit, not, double digit or I don't know. Anyway, and then there's this Kropke dot that's connecting it. Now, interestingly, if this is a 1, whether it's black or white, this is definitely a 2. And if this is a 4, well, if it's a black Kropke dot, this would still be a 2. It couldn't be an 8, too big. And if it's a white Kropke dot, well, it couldn't be 3. It would have to be 5, but plus the 4, plus whatever this is, we're already at a huge number. So this is always a 2. This is always a 1. This is always a 2. And then this is no longer a 1. This is at least a 4, meaning this is at least 6. That can't be 4. So this is definitely 1. These are not 1s. And then essentially I've got 3 with a 4. So that's 7. Presumably 5 and 6 are also possibilities. Okay. Clearly, I kind of went with it's only a single digit sum to get this far, which you can now see here. So it's just a bit of a shame that you don't see it or the rules don't make that clear. Anyway, so this is either, based on what we've just seen, 7, 8, or 9. Now, can it be 7? 1 and 6 are out. 2 and 5 are out. 3 and 4 is an option. 8, well, 1, 7 is out. 2, 6 is out. 3, 5 is out. So 8 is not an option. And then 9, not 1, 8, not 2, 7, not 3, 6, and not 4, 5. It is forced to be a 7. So that's 7. That's 4. These two cells add up to, what did I say, 7. So it can only be 3, 4, not 1, 6, not 2, 5. It's clearly not connected to the 9. And sorry, 3, 4 gives me 5 here, not connected to a 9. I mean, these two digits are 7 and 8. That can only be the 8, the 4, the 3, and the 9. I said 7 and 8. 9 and 8. Couple more cells here. 3, 8. Could be an 8, because this could be 1, 6, 9. Not going to have a 9. It's definitely a single digit sum. It's not even 9 or 8. So 9 is off the table. I'm pretty sure 6 is off the table. Even with a 3, too big. So that's 1. 8 doesn't work. We know that now. 4, 8, and kind of onwards and upwards. And we've got another color. So what are these? 3, 6, 5, 7? The irony is there's definitely a 6 in here, because it's either black crop dot, it's a 3, 6 pair, or it's a white crop dot, in which case it's 5, 6 or 6, 7. So there's always a 6 here. No 6 is there. In fact, no 5 there. Just Sudoku. 4 gave me the 7 and 4 had I paid attention. This cell here is already reasonably big. See, if it's not 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, obviously it could be 3. The next digit along is 7, which for the moment is possible with a double 1. Essentially, that'd be 1, 2. Yeah, that works. But obviously, I can't go any higher. Actually, 3, 7, 5. So 7, 5. Okay. I mean, 1 would be 2. That works. I mean, this cell again, 2, 3, 4. If it's not 1, it's 5, not 6, not 7. And I think anything too bigger than that is just ludicrous. So this is 1 or 5. Then this cell, I can get away with 1, 2, presumably 3, 4, 5, 6. No. 7 would be too big because that'd be 3, and then that's already at 10. So this is 1, 2, or 3. 1 would always be a 2. 2 couldn't be a 4. So it's 1 or 3. 3 can't be 6, can't be 4, could be 2. So there's a 1, 2, 3 in here. Which also means there's definitely a 2. Because the 3 is not connected to the 6 or the 4. So either there's already a 2 connecting to 1 or 3, or if there is a 1, it's already connecting to a 2. So there's always a 2. When you take a look at 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, these are just 6, 8, 9s. Not 9, not 8. Meaning these two cells are 1, 5, 8. And this is not a 1. Huh? No, no 8, excuse me. Four. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, not 1 or 4, so this is 5. And if you remember, 4 wasn't an option in here because of that cell, so that just becomes 1. That becomes 4. That's looking good. These 3 cells are definitely the sum. There's no more to this arrow. 7 remains alive and well. Eight and 9 are in here. Oh, actually, the 5 means no 5s. So this is 3, 6, or 7, meaning that this is a 5. That's the only place that's left for it. And then the 3 or 7. So essentially, there's a 3, 7 in here with an 8 or 9. Whichever 3, 7 is not there, it's in here with the 8 and 9, meaning I've got a 3, 7 pair, and therefore this is a 1, 2 pair. Fascinating. And then these two. So what are the possible sums that we have here? 1, 1, 3 tells me it's a sum of 9. 1, 2, 3 tells me it's a sum of 6. Uh, 2, 7, 1 doesn't work. 1, 7, 1 does with a sum of 9. So essentially, the sum of pink is 5, 6, or 9. Then we have these two cells at least. We don't know where the rest of it is, adding up to 5, 6, or 9. But we have this weird setup here. I mean, 4 is in one of these two cells. I'm just thinking about with the white and black crop key dot restrictions, doesn't feel like I should have a ton of options here. I mean, so let's just think about it. This cell is not 1, could be 2, not 3, could be 4, not 5. We're already at 6. Presumably 7 works. Not 8 and obviously not 9, because we know that this is summing up to 5, 6, or 9. Now, 2 with a 3 doesn't work, because, you know, what's joining these two cells? Nothing. 4, but 4 is not here. So 2 to 3 to get to 5 is a no. 4 with a 1 or 2 is possible to get to 5. And then that would have to be 1, 3. So 1, 2, 4. That I can still get to 5. But I'm also making the assumption that it's only these two cells. Let's just go with this for a second, because, you know, this is not a huge number of sums. I just want to consider, with the amount of restrictions that we have between the black and white crop key dots variants that we have here, that these two cells can't be that many different things. So 1 and a 4 with a 2 definitely works. We've agreed that this is all the possible digits just by Sudoku. So we've eliminated the 1, the 3, the 5, and obviously the 8. So, yeah. So that's all of them. Okay. Now, if this is 2, so this could be 1, because obviously that could be 4. But if this is 2, like, I feel like I'm in trouble. And the reason is this cell so it wouldn't be a black crop key dot of 4 or 1 because of that 1, 2. It would have to be a white crop key dot, and again, it can't be 1, it would have to be 3. And then what is this cell? Because if it's a white digit, a white dot, well, 4 doesn't work, and 2 I've just used. And if it's a black crop key dot, well, that would be 6 plus 2. Well, 8 is not an option. Admittedly, if there's a 1 somewhere else. Okay, so I'm going to leave the 2 in here. I'm just very suspicious it's not possible. so I don't misuse it. Sleuth 7 gave me the 3, and therefore 9 was never an option, and therefore the sum of these is 5 and 6, and 6 is not an option, and 7 is not an option. So, you know, the chance that this is more than these two cells is now like almost gone, given we're summing up to 5 or 6. Right, let's try that one more time. Competently, please. So 1, 2, 4 to give me the 5. Definitely works. Now, let's try again the 2 to try and do anything useful with it. So 2 just doesn't work because the 2 relied on me going to like a 6 in here with a 3 and then a 1 to get to 9, which is not an option anymore. Come on, Sleuth, that seems very logical. 2, this can't be 1, can't be 4, would have to be 3. This couldn't be 4, couldn't be a 2, would have to be 6. So yeah, 2 is not an option. 1 is not an option because it required a 2 with this dot. 3 is not an option. So I am at least 4. 5 is not an option and 6 is too big. So that's always 4. And therefore this is 1 or 2. And therefore this is 2 or 3. So 5 and 6 are both available. 4 with a 1 to get to 5 and then a 2 joining them, or 4 with a 2 and then a 3 joining them to get to 6. Tricky. 1, 2 pair. 3, 6, 8, and then 7. Six, 8, 9, and then a 5. A 4 surely has done something for me. There's always a 2 now in one of these two cells, either 1, 2, or 2, 3. No 2, no 4, so that's 5. That's 2, that's 4. That's not a 5. There's a 2 in one of these two cells. Actually, not that cell. That's a present, not a circle. So presumably the circle is in here under this piece of fog. And therefore it can only be a 6. Yep, 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 yep. And then we've got it. Seven, 8. That's the 8, that's the 7. That's a 1. This is 5, 6, 9. Do I know anything about these? I must do. These are not 7s. This is a 3, 6 pair. Unresolved. It does give me 6, 7 up here. Remember, that's not useful anymore. It does tell me that the 6 is in one of these two cells. In fact, the 5 gave me an 8 and a 5. That's not an 8, so I'm left with 6, 9, and 7. This is not 6. 6 is in here. So this is 7 or 9. In fact, these are just 7, 8, 9s. Not 8, not 9. 6, 7, 9. Not 7. 6, 9 pair. Forces of 5. And then a known digit of 3, 6, 3, 7, 6. Not 7. Another 6, 7, 9 plus a 5, which I can place on the present. Don't quite get the significance of that one. Not 6 or 7, so that can only be a 9. 6, 9, 7, 8, 7, 9. 6, 9, 6, 1. If I've not made any more mistakes, 8 for the finish. Beautiful puzzle, Mrs. Sandra. I hope that you had a phenomenal holiday and you and Nala had a fantastic time together. Just gonna just double check. Yeah, I don't quite get the backstory or the lore behind the present, but there's a 5 inside it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you had a lovely holiday, and I'll see you back soon. Bye bye for now.